After my last video, who said clickbait, about this wonderful synthesizer here, I took the time to really enjoy it. We also produced some new tracks for our label Drehstrom. And while doing so, I felt the urgent need to change some basic things in my studio to improve the workflow. You'll find out what these changes are in this studio tour. I first repaired the synth and made it look pretty again. The hold button had contact problems, a select switch had lost its switch, and the fader from the VCF bender control stuck quite terribly. I replaced all of these and then directly mounted the beautiful wooden side panels from Zündholz.de. For this, I have set up a small electric repair shop in my cupboard some time ago. Here you can find all the necessary tools to repair electronics. Very cool is the desoldering gun. This thing works absolutely great. You may not believe it, but I have dreamed of this for ages.
By the way, in the description of the video you can find affiliate links to many of the products presented in the video. Mainly to Thomann and Amazon. If something is missing, just leave us a comment. Here.
The set bass shines a new splendor. A classic among the DJ tables, which a friend of mine, Jiri Katta from Bochum, designed around 2000. On it, we built my two old 1210s from the old days and a Roland DJ 505 Serato controller. So Johannes, who is a professional DJ, can now rehearse new tracks with their peers at any time. Also, as a Xone 96 owner, he can only turn up his nose at the Roland.
For me it's especially nice because I become a flavor in very old techno recordings, and I have no place at my home with turntables, so I had not the possibility. I had not the possibilities to listen to it, so we decided to make a special place where we can listen to it, where we can sample it, and where we can have a flavor what we want to play in new DJ sets. So that is very cool.
On the cabinet, next to the accountancy, the Nostalgie corner is just being created. After all, I live in Berlin-Pankow, where the bigwigs of the GDR regime used to reside. As a Westerner, this is my way of paying homage to the products of the East, before I possibly drive a Trabi. And besides, the two are not only cult, but also sound quite fascinating. I'll definitely make a video about that. But first, both have to go to my workshop. The synthesizer will get MIDI with a kit from the Czech Republic, and the DRM will have to have a chip changed to sync to MIDI clock from outside. Hello, Heinbach. Do you know something more precise? How about the ultimate Vermona Super Session? That would be surely fun.
The real reason for all this modification was this Jasper keyboard stand that he recently bought. Unfortunately, synthesizers and drum machines automatically become more and more.
Kind of like rabbits.
Until now we always picked up the synth we wanted to get to know better, or the one we were testing for a new video. But now that the equipment setup is slowly approaching his ideals, we really wanted to throw in the live components that's inherent in all this analog gear. That means placing and wiring all the synthesizers so that they can be played and recorded directly at any time. with or without DAW. And for that, everything has to be within reach and ergonomically placed.
I opted for Jasper's model with 3 shelves. Also, we would certainly have filled 4 floors. But unfortunately, I can sit better than stand and walk, so I have to compromise on the height. In general, as a disabled person, you pay much more attention to ergonomics and ease of use. And if you are lazy or just comfortable, you can certainly learn a lot from me. Effortlessness is my middle name. In any case, almost all the keyboards that we have in daily use fit on it. And if necessary, you can quickly swap the Odyssey for the Behringer 2600. Also, the vocoder is on the air at all the time. Instant robot in every situation, thanks to the good old PM860 condenser microphone from the GDR. If you ever find one of these or its small diaphragm sibling PM750, buy it. They can easily be refurbished for a small amount of money at the Microtech Gefell factory here in Germany. It's the same production level and has the same technological roots as Neumann. Below that, the Juno. So far still without MIDI, controlled by analog trigger. These things are not so desirable for nothing. Below that, the GX8P with the Vecoven PWM mod and a retroactive programmer for the analog sugar coating. In between hangs the Behringer TD3MO on a special Jasper's Extra Boom along with a small battery of electro-harmonics effects. Phaser, bassballs, bass Big Muff P and Memory Bulb Deluxe Delay.
Actually, behind the vocoder should also hang the B-phase from our phaser video, but it didn't feel so well, made strange noises and had to be sent for warranty repair. Hopefully it's not serious, because we really like him.
Last but not least, I have the Korg SQ1 sequencer on the keyboard stand, which I mainly use to control the ARP Odyssey via CV gate. In the keyboard stand, I have mounted 2 simple LED lamps with cable ties, so you can also work comfortably at night.
To the left of the keyboard stand is the central table. Unfortunately, it is quite small and measures only 75 by 75 centimeters. But we can fit everything we need on it. So that the monitors do not take up any space, we have attached them with a VESA mount arm from Amazon. Super practical invention. However, I would prefer to have both monitors on top of each other. Then there would be some space on the right side for more effects or something else. Underneath the monitor you will find the command center of the studio. And since he has planned a hybrid concept with the DAW and analog equipment, the push as well as the multi-clock and the behringer RD8 are located here next to each other. The RD in this case does not serve as a proper drum machine, but as a trigger source and multiplier for all the other instruments.
For example, you can rhythmically break up the Juno arpeggios with the cowbell channel as a trigger source. How cool is that? The main audio out of the RD is connected to the input of the vocoder, so that you can rhythmize the VC340 sounds at any time. So there is still Baustelle in part of the house.
Here, Jaroslav. Can you stop that, please? It's too loud for the video, okay?
Okay.
The RD8 also provides an analog clock for the SQ1. The TD3MO is connected to the MIDI through of the RD8, which in turn gets its clock signal via MIDI from the multi-clock. Alternatively, the TD3 can also be fed with a second trigger from the RD8. Channel 1 on the multi-clock is still free and available for guest gear. Channel 2 is the RD8 with the connected analog keyboards rack. On channel 3, the RD9 is connected and channel 4 supplies the somewhat bitchy Casio with reliable MIDI sync. So everything is always unbelievably tight now. Hidden behind it is a Mac Mini M1 with 16 gigs of memory, which is the heart of the studio. This is really the best computer I ever bought for making music, period. There I have two active USB 3.2 hubs attached to it, which I can also absolutely recommend. So far I haven't had any problems with noise or anything like that. Except of course with Roland boutiques. These things are metal, sturdily made and come with a decent power supply. Absolute favorite. Link is in the description. To the left of the table is the Beat and modular serving card. I start upstairs with the drum section. Here stands the RD9, which is permanently hooked up to the mixer with all the individual outs. It serves as the main drum machine and is always routed directly to all inputs in my live template. And just like the RD8 on the table, the RD9 serves as a multiplier for various sync signals. For example, the Matriarch gets the trigger clock from here. Right next to it, my only real hardware sampler, the Casio RZ1. Also slightly modded, and now that I mention it, we actually owe a nice video review about this truly funky vintage drum machine. By the way, the sample input here is also permanently connected to an output from the mixer. So anything that happens in the studio can be sampled at any time. The drum machines stand on extremely practical laptop stands, which I also bought in different variations from Amazon. None of them cost more than 20 euros and you really can't have enough of them in the house.
In the twin deck on the right side is the main interface, a Turia Audio Fuse Studio. Fine sound and also an excellent monitor controller. To the left, on top of the Lexicon MX400 effects processor, is the Delta CEP-A from Radical Technologies, which I also highly recommend. And in front of it stands the Matriarch, as the center of a small modular department. If necessary, this can always be extended by the behringer 2600, which found no more place here at the moment.
In the lower deck is my latest acquisition, a presonus Studio Live Series 3 32R rack mixer. If you also suffer from a chronic lack of audio inputs on your audio interface, this is a solution. As an interface, it has 64 inputs and outputs internally. As standard, the hardware unit comes with 32 physical inputs and 16 outputs, which can be expanded via AVB network cable with corresponding stage boxes. With that, we have enough input potential for now. Of course, on the Mac you can aggregate this as you like. And even though it only looks like a patch bay, this is a full-blown digital mixer with 32 channels that can be conveniently controlled from a laptop or even wirelessly from an iPad if you connect a Wi-Fi router. And if you ever feel like having real mixer hardware, you can easily pair the 32R with the real presonus Studio Live mixer. Absolutely convincing ecosystem. Maybe I'll do a more detailed video on this and how to set it up as an interface in Ableton Live. If you are interested, leave a comment. By now, I'm absolutely convinced by this mixer and it sounds brilliant. Sometimes it's just worth checking out our colleagues from the live recording unit.
On the mixer stands the beginning of our analog master chain. A warm audio bus compressor, which we just have there to try out. I am much interested in mastering. It definitely sounds a lot juicier than most SSL compressor plugins. Finally, on top the behringer ADAT interface, which is connected to the Arturia. So we have a separate audio cabling through the mixer for the production and the live setup that runs directly into Ableton. And at the same time, we can still use all of the previous audio interface features when we record demos for our videos.
A dream. And if we suddenly feel like we could use some polymorph, we just have it here. The Sirius is not part of the setup yet, but I plan to dive deeper into the sequencer and will try to use it with external analog gear. So the quasi-MIDIs are still honored as an important part of my personal synth history. Yes, and on the far left, back there at the window, is my private splice. Enough sample material for the years to come. Since I mostly use my own chair, we still needed a versatile and maneuverable chair for the fellow musician. For this, these old discarded dentist chairs came in handy, which can almost be used as bar stools as well. We also have one in the store, it's a work chair.
Real vintage and only available on eBay.
That's it for our electronic equipment. I hope you enjoyed our little studio tour. I would be happy about many likes and new subscribers. And if any detail in this setup has piqued your curiosity, just ask in the comments. Well then, after this exhausting rebuild, we'll let the tenants dance for now. Cheers and peace.